Rias Kammerchor Berlin and Akademie für Alte Musik Berlin have had for many years a great relationship with Handel, or Händel, depending on where you are. Of course, as a Brit, I think of him as an adopted English composer. He was, of course, German, and having just arrived in London, had the great chance to be chosen to write the coronation music for George II. It's actually a great coincidence that we recorded this programme this season and release it in 2023, the year that we actually have a coronation in the United Kingdom. That was not planned on our part. We had originally programmed this repertoire for 2 years ago during the COVID pandemic, and unfortunately the concert had to be postponed, but we thought it worth recording this amazing music and putting it in some context as well. Instead of trying to recreate a very specific liturgy or coronation ceremony, we chose to give Händel's works a little bit of context by adding Croft's beautiful Coronation Anthem into the programme. Had he lived a bit longer, he would have been writing the music for George II's coronation. But because he died in the same year as George I, there was a vacancy. And actually Händel, even though he wasn't officially the man who should have got the job, was asked by George II to write these great pieces. Also, having music by John Blow in the programme, in this CD, it gives a little bit of recent history, because without Blow there would be no Purcell, without Purcell there would be no Croft, without Croft there would be no Händel, and he's part of a continuum, and that's why Blow's wonderful chaconne is in this programme as well. People often ask about authenticity. What is authentic? What isn't authentic? And actually what we're trying to do as musicians is recreate the spirit of something, rather than necessarily force the musicians to play in very cold circumstances with candlelight and feed them terribly meagre rations. So authenticity can take all sorts of forms. We have made a decision firmly to stick with our 34 full-time professional singers of Rias Kammerchor and the core players of Akademie für Alte Musik Berlin, rather than expand to some huge forces, as might have been the case, or would have been the case in the Abbey coronation. There's also a practical reason for that, and that while we would like, of course, to recreate some of the spirit of how the music would sound, we don't want to recreate all of it, because we know from a handwritten note in the coronation booklet and the order of service that the anthem was all in confusion and all irregular in the music. So it sounds like everything didn't go quite according to plan, and we think that our version might be a little bit tighter than that Händel first heard. A few weeks ago, I and several of the choir had the great privilege of singing for King Charles. He came to Berlin for a state visit, and we were chosen to perform some music for him at a state banquet, and had a lovely conversation with him afterwards. And it is a great pleasure and joy to know that we have a monarch who is so interested in music and culture. And as a cellist, of course, he has a very, very good sense of taste and grounding. I do hope you enjoy this CD. It's wonderful music, performed with great joy. It's lovely to see the choir and the orchestra having so much fun when they record these pieces as well. And of course, it's a wonderful example of how good the British are at pomp and ceremony. Enjoy the music, enjoy Coronation Day, enjoy Händel.